Hello everybody, I'm Lane Mars, and in today's video we are going to be going over every single Call of Duty Zombies Easter egg and putting it on a tier list. We have 6 different tiers ranging from hard ASF to easy peasy. Ladies and gentlemen, let's jump right into it with the first Easter egg in Call of Duty Zombies history. This one goes in easy simply because, the most difficult thing you will find about the Ascension Easter egg is finding 4 people to do it with you. Other than that, it's a really straightforward Easter egg. It's pretty simple. You're going to have some box luck in order to get Gersh devices and Matryoshka dolls. But other than that, you're shooting at some fucking black holes. That's like the entire Easter egg. It's not that hard, but you do need 4 players, so it goes in easy. Now, next up, we have Call of the Dead, which is going to go in the easy peasy category because it is easy peasy. Ladies and gentlemen, you have to throw some grenades at some pillars, some things in the, what are they called? Beacons? I don't know. You gotta throw some grenades at some things that light up, and you gotta help Richtofen escape. And really, I think it might be a little bit more difficult than Ascension. Actually, you know what? We're going to go ahead and flip these two. Now, I know that for Ascension, you do still need 4 people. And I think my argument still stands for Ascension, but it's very easy peasy, and Call of the Dead is just a pinch more difficult. I'm going to put this one in easy peasy as well, actually. But now Shangri-La, I'm going to put in the average category because it is like the first real Easter egg in my opinion, and it might even go all the way down to the easy category if it wasn't for the fact that you needed 4 people, and Shangri-La as a map itself is like actually quite hard, so you might struggle with it a little bit. But honestly, it's not too tough of an Easter egg. However, it is the first Easter egg that you have to get on and really play for like a solid chunk of time. You can't just do it in 5 minutes like the Call of the Dead Easter egg. Seriously, what's the Call of the Dead world record for the Easter egg? Okay, thank you. And of course on Shangri-La, you're going to need all of your players in your party and all just to stand on the same tile to open up Pack-a-Punch, okay? Having 4 coordinated players is a lot more difficult than it sounds. It's the reason why I've never done Shangri-La Easter egg to this day, because you need 4 people to do the first step of the Easter egg, put it in Eclipse mode. I've never done Shangri-La to this day. Also, I've never done Shadows of Evil to this day. I made it like all the way through Shadows of Evil, but I've never like done the last step and seen the cutscene on my own computer screen. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, coming up next we have Moon. I'm gonna put Moon in the difficult category because there's a couple of there's a couple of soul boxes to do. There's a lot of zombie killing, there's some hacking stuff on top of that. Now really, Moon, you might not struggle too much with Moon if you get really good box luck, but if you are gonna have some terrible box luck, if you're gonna be struggling along with it, Moon is not the way to go, guys. Moon, I'm telling you, if you got bad luck, don't play Moon, because you need wave gun, QEDs, and Gersh devices. You need all 3 of those in order to complete the Easter egg, which is why I'm putting it at the difficult category, just because that box luck is going to be tough, especially if you're not playing on Black Ops 3 with Gobblegums and Immolation. Seriously, my heart goes out to you if you're playing Black Ops 1 Moon, trying to do the Easter egg. Now, Transit, if I'm being honest, I don't know what to think about Transit, because it's either like very difficult because you don't want to do it at all and you're just like no, but also like the speedrun is like incredibly fast, and Transit Easter egg doesn't really take a lot of skill to do. It's more so just like annoying. Those teleporters might send you to the wrong spot. It's kind of annoying, and it also depends if you do the Maxis or the Richtofen side of the Easter egg. I think the Richtofen side's easier if I remember correctly, but the Maxis way is the correct one. I'm going to throw Transit in easy because I certainly find it a little bit easier than the Moon Easter egg, or I can't speak too much about Shangri-La personally, but and it's definitely more difficult than Ascension or Call of the Dead. I think so, at least. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Now, Die Rise also has one of the easier Easter eggs in Call of Duty Zombies, and story-wise, it is absolutely the most filler Easter egg of all time. They turn on a beacon. in China. Like, that's all it has to do for the story. That could have been a cutscene, really. So it's an easy Easter egg. If I'm being honest, I find it easier than Shangri-La and Moon, and I find it just a little bit harder than Transit. Although really, I put them on the same scale. Jimmy Zielinski, Black Ops 2 Easter eggs. I mean, the first two are kind of but we'll get to the last one, baby. We'll get to that third one. Okay, so Mob of the Dead, oh boy, this one's tough. Would I put it ahead of Moon or behind Moon? Now, really, if you've played Mob of the Dead before and you've played a decent amount of it, it probably just goes behind Moon. But if you've never played Mob of the Dead before and you're going to be like, okay, let's do the Mob of the Dead Easter egg. If you've never played Moon before and you're like, okay, let's do the Moon Easter egg, Mob of the Dead is harder in that sense because it's a more complex map. However, the Easter egg itself for Mob of the Dead, once you've set yourself up, the Easter egg really isn't too much. You're listening to some audio tapes, you're flying back and forth from the bridge a few times, you're killing your homie, you know how it is. You're breaking the cycle, or the cycle is continuing. It comes in difficult. Now, coming in next, this is the third Jimmy Zielinski map. I'm putting this one in very hard. Buried. Ladies and gentlemen, Buried is very, very, very hard Easter egg. Now, oh, sorry about that one, guys. You shouldn't find yourself struggling with the Buried Easter egg too much throughout it. However, if you are playing with a teammate and you get to the last step of the Easter egg, you might hate yourself, because it doesn't even matter how good you are. For the sharp shooter step, where you have to shoot every single target that flaps up in the mansion or wherever, right? There are, I believe there's 4 locations, because there's 4 players. You shoot, okay? And if your homie does not hit all of the targets, you have to redo the step. If you do not hit all of the targets, you have to redo the step. This is why Buried, it goes in the very hard category. Without this step, it probably falls in right around the Mob of the Dead area. Like, it's nothing crazy goes on in Buried, but the sharp shooter step is so annoying. And now for the last Black Ops 2 map, we have Origins, which this one seems pretty self-explanatory. It's going right up in the hardest fuck section because there's a lot to do. I mean, really, in Origins, you have to gather 4 staff parts, and there was 4 parts for each staff, which is the 3 parts and the disc. So that's 16 parts total. Add on the gramophone and the black disc, there's 18 parts, plus all the Maxis drone part. You got 21 parts right there, plus 6 generators, and then you can start the Easter egg. Then you fill up 4 soul boxes. There's so much to do on Origins that it has to go into the hard ASF category, because there's nothing else describes it. I mean, it was the first difficult Easter egg. And I mean, it was the first Easter egg that people played. People played Origins so they could do the Easter egg. It was the first map that had that kind of quality to it, where the Easter egg was the real substance behind the map. Which, I don't know how you guys feel about that personally. Oh, sorry guys. Personally, I've always been an Easter egg guy, so these maps that focus more and more on the Easter egg and have the Easter egg as a more integral part of the map, well, I like them a lot, but I understand that a lot of people don't, and a lot of people prefer the sandbox kind of feel to zombies, but I'm rambling now, so I'll see you later. Boom, next up we got Shadows of Evil. Now, Shadows of Evil, I'm going to put in the hard as fuck category as well. I'm going to put it behind Origins, just because, I mean, oh, this one's tough. Do I put it behind Origins? I don't know. You got to kill a lot of Margwas with the Shadows of Evil Easter egg, which is kind of why I want to put it ahead of Origins, just because it's more difficult as in skill-wise. Origins, you really have to have that knowledge, that zombies knowledge, to get you through it. But Shadows of Evil, if you're not good at video games, you will die, okay? If you can't shoot the Shadow Man on the flag step, you will die. If you can't kill all of the Margwas, how many is it total? How many? 7? If you can't kill 7 Margwas and acquire all 7 Chaos Emeralds, you're dead, dude. You're dead. It doesn't matter how much Call of Duty Zombies knowledge you have. If you can't get the 7 Chaos Emeralds, I'm joking. okay? But I mean, yeah, Shadows of Evil, it takes quite a bit of actual like zombie skill to pull off, and I believe I had it as the second hardest BO3 Easter egg on my BO3 Easter eggs ranked video. Make sure you guys watch that in the description down below. I'm telling y'all, got like 8,000 views. Y'all love that video. It's like a year old. Now, next up, we have the Drak, which I'm going to put in the very hard category because, I mean, really, it's as simple as crafting the bow. Now, there's a lot of knowledge that comes into this map, and it kind of rides the line in between Origins and Shadows, where you do have to have skill, because, you know, you got the Keeper step, and you also have the Keeper boss fight. You can't be a bad Zombies player and succeed in the boss fight. That's not how that works, no. But you also have to have a certain amount, I'd argue, more map knowledge than you would for Shadows of Evil. On Shadows of Evil, if you're the fourth player, you can kind of just be dragged through it as long as, you know, you can kill Margwas, right? But on Drak, you kind of have to know how to craft at least your own bow, and there's all the wisp steps to remember, wisp spawns and stuff like that. Drak is right now the third hardest Easter egg on this list, and it comes in the very hard section. Now, Zetsubo's tough. I'm gonna put this one in the very hard section as well. Now, ahead of Buried or behind Buried, that's tough. I'm gonna put it ahead of Buried just for the boss fight effect. Even though Zetsubo's boss fight is one of the easier boss fights in Black Ops 3. You guys want to know about which boss fights are the easiest in Black Ops 3? Yo, watch that video too, guys. Come on, what are you doing? But Zetsubo, again, it's a lot like Mob of the Dead in a sense where once you know how to set up, and once you are set up on Zetsubo and Mob of the Dead, it's just a couple extra steps to get you through the Easter egg. However, Zetsubo's setup all the way from start to finish is a bit more lengthy than Mob of the Dead's because you have to do all of the trials, all of your trials. It's the only Easter egg that requires you to do all of your trials. Why? That wasn't a thing on Origins. Why did you do it on Zetsubo? Why, Treyarch? Why? Anyways, there can be some RNG in which trials you get. And if you and your homie both get shitty trials, you're going to have a shitty time trying to do the Easter egg. And you're all going to die trying to get fan trap kills, okay? All of you are going to die trying to get the fan trap kills. Not really, but I mean, you know, that's kind of the point I'm trying to get at. Also, 2 boss fights. If you go into that Mama Spider boss fight without Jug, you might die. It's pretty easy to get red screened and then just get tapped like that, you know. So, little fair warning there. But Zetsubo, very hard. Now, next up, we have Gorod Krovi, which I'm putting as the hardest Easter egg in Black Ops 3. I'm just going to say that right now. Revelations is not going in hard as fuck. That's for sure. Gorod Krovi is very difficult because, in my opinion, there is a good mix of map knowledge, like with Origins, where you have to collect the 6 collectibles for the Sophia steps in Gorod Krovi, and gameplay. You need to have real skill to be able to do the Gorod Krovi Easter egg, and I believe that more than any other Call of Duty Zombies map, you need to be good at the game to do the Gorod Krovi Easter egg. You can't just have a wide knowledge of Zombies information on your hand, because you will die in the boss fights, guaranteed. You will die during the Green-Eyed Mangler step. You will die during the Valkyrie step. There's a lot of steps that are difficult and you will probably die at, okay? The lockdown step at the very end of the Easter egg right before the boss fight can be kind of troubling as well if you don't have Ray Gun Mark 3s. Get Ray Gun Mark 3s, you will appreciate. You don't need it for the Gorod Krovi Easter egg, but like you pretty much do. And the consequences to failing some of these steps are kind of insane, such as the bomb step. If all of your teammates are standing near a bomb and it goes off, well, the game just, it's game over, dude. I don't know what else to tell you. So remember the order for those bombs. Also, the map knowledge that you need for the valve step is absolutely ridiculous. You have to pull up a separate website, Chronorium.com. Mr. Raffle Waffles, what are you? Thank you for the Chronorium.com. But that man literally had to come up with an algorithm, okay? An algorithm in order to solve the Gorod Krovi Easter egg properly. When people were first solving that Easter egg, they just press square. They just had everybody at a valve. Everybody press square until the thing comes out. And eventually the thing came out, alright? But now there is obviously a formula for it. But it doesn't make Garage Crovy any easier, really, that you know all this knowledge. Like, knowing all the things to grab on Origins will make the Origins Easter egg significantly easier not having to look at a guide. For Garage Crovy, not having to look at a guide isn't going to make the Easter egg that much easier. That's why. Now, Revelations, I'm going to put in the difficult category because, I mean, nah, Revelations is average. At best, it's average, okay? Because, again, Revelations has kind of that moon sort of sense where it's like, you know, it's not that, okay. Just gonna hope no one notices. Alright, guys, I put Moon down to average because, honestly, I don't know what I was thinking. Moon is not harder than Mob of the Dead, and also, Moon especially is not harder than Revelations. Revelations and the Moon Easter egg share a lot of similarities, mostly with RNG, in a sense that for Revelations, you're going to want the Apothecant Servant, or you're going to need the Apothecant Servant and Lil Arnie's, and you're also going to want the Thunder Gun, kind of similar to Garage Crovy. Like, having the Thunder Gun makes killing those Margwas so much easier, because similar to Shadows, you're also going to have to kill 9 Margwas in Revelations. However, you have a Thunder Gun, so it makes it way easier. Now, Revelations is the ultimate knowledge map. Why? Because you have to know where all is it 6? There's 6 random space rocks, and on top of that, there's 6 more random space rocks that you have to shoot with your Apothecant Servant in order to pack-a-punch it. There's a lot of dumb stuff in this Easter egg like that, but overall, it isn't too difficult. And if you have a decent memory, you should probably be able to do it. When I say a decent memory, I'm talking about the boss fight step where you have to memorize all 4 symbols. I mean, if you have a decent memory, that you should be able to get that. And also, the boss fight really isn't too hard. I think I put it as the easiest boss fight in Black Ops 3. Shadows is easier. But yeah, Revelations is definitely the second easiest boss fight in BO3. And it comes in difficult. Now, moving on to BO4, we have Blood of the Dead, which, straight up, never actually beaten this Easter egg, but I've gotten pretty far in it a couple times. Honestly, though, it's not a lot of fun, and it took me 3 hours, so I think the fact that I didn't beat it also kind of makes me just want to put it as the hardest one, because it's the only one on this map, on this tier list, where I've put in a real conscious effort, a real attempt, and I can't do it. I can't do it. I don't want to do it. I get about halfway, like an hour and a half into it, and I'm like, man, what am I doing here? I'm trying to get the golden spork, watching some blood drip from this friggin' water tower. I mean, Blood of the Dead, honestly, is one of the most confusing maps of all time, just as to why it was created. Because the Mob of the Dead Easter egg is way more enjoyable and way more fun, and it's way cooler. You get to kill your homie. But Blood of the Dead sucks. It sucks. I mean, the final cutscene is really cool. Blood of the Dead sucks. Don't do it. Alright, next up we have 9. Now, 9 is going to go in the very hard category. I spent some time on 9, and I actually didn't beat the boss fight. I've never tried to do it more than once, though. But I didn't beat the boss fight. That big elephant boss is pretty tough, and he will just kind of throw these spears at you that they just kind of take you out. I don't know what else to tell you. They just kind of kill you. But 9 is a very difficult Easter egg as a whole, and especially if you don't get good luck in the wonder weapon from the box, you're going to have to do the whole drinky thing with the cup. And you got to try to keep your thumbs up thing. What's that? Crowd affinity? You got to keep your crowd affinity high as well, which is a whole struggle on its own. And if you find yourself getting caught behind, you will struggle with this Easter egg. It is very hard. Now, Voyage of Despair, I'm going to put it just ahead of 9 because there's a few little whack steps in there, such as, like, shooting the planets and stuff. And, I mean, overall, I think it's a harder boss fight with an harder Easter egg with an easier boss fight than 9. But I mean, I don't know. I don't have a lot to say about Voyage of Despair. I don't really want to say a lot about it. I don't think you guys want to hear a lot about Voyage of Despair. It sucks. You shouldn't play it. The Easter egg is relatively difficult because it's a BO4 Easter egg, Jason Blundell Easter egg. But, I don't know. Now, Dead of the Night, I'm going to put ahead of Buried, but behind Zetsubo, just for one specific reason. Dead of the Night, or no, ahead of Buried, behind Zetsubo. Come on, Lane Marshall. Dead of the Night has a lot of bloody parts to pick up, and there's a lot of stuff to keep in your brain while doing this Easter egg that you just kind of have to, you just kind of got to keep it locked in there. And if you have to have a guide for this Easter egg, man, I bless your soul, because you're going to have to look up the locations for like 50 different parts, and then the Easter egg on top of that. So, Dead of the Night, very hard. Ancient Evil is a relatively hard Easter egg as a whole, and I mean, I don't have a ton of experience with Ancient Evil. I've actually never really done the Easter egg on Ancient Evil, guys. Like, I've never even really made an attempt. I don't know what else to tell y'all, but I'm gonna put it, I don't know. I don't have anywhere to put Ancient Evil. I've never made an attempt at the Easter egg. I don't think I will. Don't really want to buy it. Alpha Omega, I mean, really, this map overall is pretty easy and pretty unoriginal, and I don't care about it at all, but I know that the Easter egg is pretty tough, and I know that the Avogadro boss fight is also relatively difficult. However, again, I've never made a real attempt at the Alpha Omega Easter egg. I'm sorry, guys, so I'm going to throw it in average, because, I mean, from what I know, it's an average Easter egg. I don't know, guys. I've never done it. How can I? Yes, I mean, that part was that step that I did, it was super hard, guys. Yeah, no, I didn't do any steps. I don't know what to tell you. Togdertoten, now personally, I would put Togdertoten in difficult because there is no real boss fight to close it off. It kind of finishes off with this, like, you're inside this circle and you're, like, walking around shooting shit. It's not too hard. The Easter egg as a whole, I mean, really, it goes in difficult because I do think it's easier than Revelations. I don't know about Mob of the Dead, but it's easier than Revelations. Now, next, moving on to Cold War, we have D Machine, which I'm just gonna go ahead and slap. We'll put it in between. Nah, it's easy peasy. I mean, really, D Machine is super easy. It really walks you through the whole Easter egg. Now, I'm just trying to think about the D Machine Easter egg, because, I mean, really, I guess I'd put it in easy. There's a couple difficult steps, however, I just remember it was super easy to, like, figure out, and I didn't need a guide at all the entire time. There is a few difficult steps, however, overall, I put it in easy. Now, Firebase Z, I actually solved this Easter egg on my own with my homies without a guide. It was pretty fun to solve, but after I solved it, I literally didn't do it again, and I'm actually a little foggy on the steps. I did it a few more times, and I do remember it being, you know, relatively difficult, especially for a Cold War Easter egg. They don't get very hard. I'm going to go ahead and plop that in average, and I'm going to put Alpha Omega above that. Nah. Okay, Firebase Z is definitely easy. It's just harder than Cold War, or harder than D Machine. So I kind of want to put it in average, but I mean, overall, the Cold War Easter eggs are not the hardest. Now, next up, we have Mauer der Toten. It took me a while to find this one in this little mess here, because there's no name on it. It's like the only one without a name. I don't get it, but okay. That's fine. Mauer der Toten. Now, this is probably the hardest Cold War Easter egg, other than maybe Outbreak, which they don't have here. They have Advanced Warfare Outbreak. I might use that in place. I don't know. We'll find out in the next episode. Anyways, Mauer der Toten, ladies and gentlemen. Mauer der Toten, it's pretty hard. It is one of the hardest boss fights in Cold War. Valentina is extremely difficult. If you don't come into that prepped up and ready to fight, you're just gonna get downed like a whole bunch, and then after you're down once, you're kind of screwed. It's a hard boss fight, man. There's a couple time steps with the radioactive uranium and stuff like that, and the Klaus steps. I do remember it being one of the more difficult Easter eggs, and I'm gonna put it as an average Easter egg, because I mean, really, that's all it was. For a Cold War map, it's hard, but overall, it's just average. Yo, guys, next up we have Forsaken, which I remember being extremely. It had a very hard boss fight. I do remember the boss fight being very difficult. The big crystal guy, what's his name? I don't remember his name, but I do remember the Forsaken boss fight being extremely difficult. I remember having some trouble actually getting the crystal axe, so I just did the challenges for it because I said screw that noise, but you know, whatever. And the abominations can be kind of tough. I mean, overall, it's a map I should honestly revisit. I should revisit all of Cold War as a whole for a video. I'm gonna do that. Okay, Forsaken, overall, I think it probably can go in the average tier right behind Mauer der Toten, but overall it's not that great. Okay guys, so before we end the video, I just want to go through some of the other maps here that maybe I've sort of done an Easter egg for. Classified, it's round 150. I never done it, but I mean, obviously that's extremely difficult. But Classified, kind of not an Easter egg at all, really. And I mean, the Vanguard maps, I'm not even. I didn't know. I just not know. I didn't even know. That's not gonna know. You know what I'm saying? And then Outbreak from Advanced Warfare, I just know. Again, I'm just not gonna know. No. But Outbreak on Cold War, which I'm using this in place of. Outbreak on Cold War, there's 2 Easter eggs, obviously. Now, the Outbreak Easter egg is extremely difficult, the first one. It's the hardest Easter egg in Cold War, without a doubt. And I would put it up on this kind of level. I would kind of rank it just ahead of Buried. I honestly believe that. And the boss fight is so hard. And the fact that it's timed almost makes me want to give it bonus points. It's up here, it's in this kind of region, you know, it's very difficult. Outbreak Easter egg on Cold War, the Cold War Outbreak Easter egg is very hard. Sorry about that, guys. Now the second Cold War Easter egg is pretty, I don't know, but it would probably go in easy peasy. It's just oh wait, there's Outbreak. Silly me. How many of y'all were yelling at me? How many of y'all were yelling at me? How many of y'all were yelling at me? Anyways, this one's gonna be the second Outbreak Easter egg. I'm gonna slap that hoe. Easy peasy, straight up, no difficulties with the second Outbreak Easter egg. You can just kind of do it. It's not hard. If you can play Outbreak, you can do that Easter egg. Now, the second Outbreak Easter egg, on the other hand, a lot of tough boss fights. The one tough boss fight, the Legion, 10 minutes. Do it. You're not going to do it, but you can try. Also, the Giant and Doris both have the, what's it called? Flytrap Easter egg. The Giant and Doris both have the Flytrap Easter egg, and that is obviously easy peasy. Very easy peasy. New category. Very easy. Wait. Yeah, very easy peasy, guys. There you have it. Very easy peasy. I'm gonna put the Giant and Doris in very easy peasy. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, be sure to leave a like. If you did not enjoy it, please leave a thumbs down. Okay, I'll see it. You guys won't see it, but I'll see it. But so that's okay. Anyways, if there's any particular picks that you really didn't like that I made in this, tell me down below. And I'm sure it's gonna be the Black Ops 4 picks. I'm sorry guys, I didn't buy BO4 DLC. I didn't bother. No way. No, it's just not gonna happen.